It's F1 manager in Singapore for the Singapore Grand Prix.
A constant challenge for drivers where one lapse in concentration can easily see them hit the wall. Downforce is the name of the game here, and teams will need to add as much as possible to gain an advantage. In the last round, Max Verstappen flew to victory, the Dutchman proving that he can be absolutely unstoppable when he's in such fine form. That's all here. Now back to the action.
So starting off the weekend in practice 1, 18th and 20th, not a surprise because we don't push in any of the practice sessions. We just get track acclimatization and setup. So it doesn't matter to me what the results are, whether we're quickest, slowest, it doesn't mean anything. As we're 19th and 20th in practice 2, this is fine. We're just driving in clean air, avoiding high risk curbs, conserving the tyres so we can just use one set of tyres for the whole session. And that's fine. Practice 2, there was a red flag in practice 3, which completely put an end to practice 3. And yeah, meant that we're a bit mudded for track acclimatization now because we've missed out half an hour of running. As George is 42% confidence, Lewis 91.
Let's find out if all that practice will pay off for the drivers.
Executing the perfect qualifying lap around Singapore comes down to absolute precision. The circuit needs high downforce and a good suspension to maximize grip on the bumpy street surface.
In terms of Lance Stroll, how do you think he's doing, Karun?
They set a great lap in practice, so you can only imagine how good they're feeling going into qualifying. But the big question is, will they be able to keep this performance up?
Here we go, folks. It's time to get started.
And into Q1 we go, starting off with our first flying lap. We have already done a flying lap, but that was on a set of intermediates just so the drivers could gain confidence and get to grips with the circuit a little bit better. It's coming through the first sector. George is now on very high confidence. Lewis is on very high as well. He's done a 26.7 in the first sector. I can't quite remember what George has done. Although George is gaining on Lewis, so I think George is quicker. Yeah, George was a tenth and a half quicker in sector 2. They're both green. Lewis with a 36.4. George with a... well, I don't know. I'll know when we get to the line, but I know George's lap's definitely been quicker. Up to the line they go. Yep, George was 4 tenths quicker. 4th and 5th in Q1. And that sees both cars through to Q2. But that Red Bull looks mighty quick. Mighty quick. But we can't afford to keep losing points, and we have to get back in this championship fight. As we're now slipstreaming Hamilton, we're using George instead of the other way around in Q1. We'll see who's quicker this time, because that will then decide. If George is quicker again, he'll definitely get the turn in Q3. If Lewis is quicker, then he'll probably get a toe for one run and George will get a toe for the other run. Anyway, going through the middle sector of the lap, the tight, twisty, technical section of Singapore. Used to be a nasty little Singapore sitting over there. As an Alpine or a Williams gets out of the way, it's quite difficult to see on 2 times speed. As we're coming down through the new bit of the track, through the right and the left. I don't actually know if they're keeping that new bit now in 2024, but hopefully, because I think it was better. As Lewis is P7, George is P5, and it ends up being P7 and P9. As George is giving the slipstream to Lewis in Q3. Even though I said that wouldn't happen, but hey ho. It is what it is. Anyway. Lewis is purple for the first sector. George is green. Oh no, Lewis has actually gone out, so I was trying to slipstream. Get George to slipstream with Lewis, but I've sent them out in clean air for some reason. Alright, fair enough. Lewis has had his purple sector taken away, but he has just set a purple sector in sector 2. Yes, he has. Is George better? No, he's not. George is not quicker through sector 2. Lewis now coming down through the right, through the left, down towards the final corner. Don't do a Lance Stroll, up towards the line. 27-1. George does a 27-3. I'm currently 3rd and 4th, heading on to the final run in Q3. Tried to get Lewis to get the slipstream on this run, but that's not worked either. As a Ferrari gets out of the way, he might have blocked George there. Hopefully they both go quicker through this sector. Yeah, both are quicker, so hopefully we can get closer to that pole time now. We're 6/10 off the Red Bull. That Red Bull is rapid, but I do need both drivers in front of Stroll, preferably. As there is meant to be heavy rain for tomorrow's Grand Prix. So every place we can get and every overtake we can stop ourselves from doing by starting higher means we'll have more pace in the dry and we'll be further ahead in the wet, which means we can really show our pace more. Up the line.
That's currently P4.
Lewis goes P2. George stays P4. Which probably means he's going to be quite far down the order. I can definitely see him at least losing 3 places. Well, that's the checkered flag down. What's it going to be?
That's a good lap.
Stroll comes across the line. Can he beat Lewis? No, he can't. Who's on the in-lap or offline lap? So Leclerc and Perez are on good laps. Norris has finished. He's not doing much better. Carlos coming around the final corner. What can he do? Who can he beat? Up to the line he goes. What's it going to be for Carlos? He finishes P3. Beats Stroll. Doesn't beat Lewis. That's quite good. Leclerc. Perez. What can Perez do? Can he launch himself up to the front row? Or even to pole position? No, he can't. It's P5 for him. Just a tiny bit quicker than George, and Leclerc was P5. George was 600ths off being P5. That is pain. But it's going to be P2 and P7 in race day for the Singapore Grand Prix.
The teams are making their final preparations down in the pit lane, ahead of today's race.
The walls around Singapore force the cars close together, and even the best can waver in the tight spaces. Back in 2011, we saw Lewis Hamilton clip Felipe Massa as the two battled it out. There were certainly some words exchanged after that one, as I'm sure you recall.
Now, in terms of George Russell, Karun, how do you think he's going to be feeling going into this race?
I don't think there can be any real complaints over their performance so far. They know what's expected of them, and they're making sure to deliver.
We should see some fascinating strategies applied today here at the Singapore Grand Prix.
I've just remembered this was my first race on keyboard, and stupidly I've decided the strategy medium, soft, which would work if it was a full dry race, but I've not actually checked the conditions, so that's a bit stupid of
Final
me.
checks are being carried out on the grid, and it won't be long until we get underway. Our attention shifts to Lewis Hamilton and what he can produce in this race.
A special milestone as they head into this race. 350 race starts under their belt now. What an achievement.
And the time has come. Let's go racing. And this is it. The Singapore Grand Prix. And it's lights out and away we go.
And indeed it is lights out and away we go for the Singapore Grand Prix. Everybody is on hards, no doubt, because they're trying to get to the wets as George goes to P7. Lewis sticks in P2. George now moves up to P6. Around the outside for P5, down the inside for P5. Lovely move from George Russell, as you see on the replay here.
They decide to give it a go. And 5th place after that.
Nice, and Lewis is close to the lead. He's going to go for the lead. Don't think he's going to quite be able to pull it off. No, he's not.
Max Verstappen.
Max. Lewis gets his full car ahead, but then Max just gets a better apex, because apparently we are the worst car on the grid for acceleration. I don't know how, I don't know why,
And Verstappen says thank you.
that's the case. I think we need more drag reduction, and we need more drag reduction soon, as George is now trying to get around the outside of Carlos, but nothing doing of it. Lewis is now fighting Max Verstappen. He's going to try it down the inside the Singapore sling. He's going to make it work through the flat left-hander. Well, it's not flat, but it's a 90 left-hander. Flat left-hander. Jesus Christ, taking that flat, no thanks. That's Matt 2-1-2 strategies. As Lewis is now E2. Overtaking Verstappen, real ding-dong battle. Just can't quite get him. Needs to get him and push away from him, but there's like a DRS straight every like 2 meters, so it's difficult to push away. As he gets him again around the outside, then down the inside. He's just not getting his full car in front, which is what's causing the problems. As he goes around the outside, surely this is it. DRS, no, he gets DRS. And Lewis tries to get him now. You just can't get the full car in front.
Let's give it
So yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
As George Russell comes into the pits on lap 22, into the pits we go. Old tyres on, old tyres off, new tyres on, 3.1 second stop. Not great. Where is he going to come out? Yikes, P14. We've got about 18 laps as Lewis comes into the pit lane. He should come out in a much better position. He should come out just in front of the 2 Haas cars. As he comes in, 3.3 second stop. Yikes. Yeah, and he comes out just in front of both Haas cars. So that's good. That's good. We can fight with that. As George gets Yuki Tsunoda, or Alex Albon, sorry. And then George also gets Esteban Ocon. As Lewis sets the fastest lap with a 32.1. George is being slowed up by this traffic as he now gets Lance Stroll. And he's going to try and go around the outside. He's going to try and do 2 for 1. Get Pierre Gasly as well. As George was fighting Stroll in the first stint, but Stroll pit very, very early. As he now goes around the outside of Magnussen. And he gets Hulkenberg. Lewis now gets Perez. And on lap 28 he gets Alonso, as George now sets fast lap with 31.8. And now going down the inside, because Norris very aggressively chops us off down the Raffles Boulevard, and we are P4 and P8 as George is now on the back of Perez, and we are genuinely 3-4 seconds quicker a lap than the top guys as George gets Alonso and Norris. But the rain came down 3 laps earlier than expected, and look how close we were to Carlos Sainz. 1 more lap and we would have had him, as we're stacking both cars for wets. On go Lewis's wets, 3.1. As this is for the first race on keyboard, I'm not actually doing too bad. 2.9 for George, that's much better. We drive through Stroll, but yeah, that is what it is. As Lewis is now up to P4, George is now up to P5, trying to get the Ferrari. Just nowhere to go, running out of battery, just can't quite dive bomb it. As we pit on lap 51 for inters, just like both Ferraris have. Fresh set of inters. George comes in, because the wets, we pushed too much on the wets to try and get the Ferraris, but it didn't work. So we were going to have to pit for new wets anyway, so we may as well pit for inters. As George goes and gets the place. And now on lap 58, with just a few laps to go, we come in for wets. Because the Ferraris were like 4 seconds a lap quicker than us, so there's just no point trying to contest it. Lewis gets a 3.1, George gets a 3.2. These pit stops have been causing us problems all season long. And yeah, I just don't know what to do about it. So I'm going to try and watch a video, see if anyone knows what there is to do about it. As Max wins and Lewis loses a crucial 12 points in the championship fight. Made better by the fastest lap bonus point, but
Let's keep pushing, guys.
yeah, P4, P5, not what we wanted at a high downforce circuit, just not ideal. We hoped for a better race in Japan, but when Japan's a similar circuit to this, I don't think we're going to be getting that. But yeah, that was the race in Singapore.
Wrapped up for Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah, just shy of a podium, but 4th is still a respectable finish.
Well, Max Verstappen can add yet another podium to his already impressive record.
It almost feels like it doesn't need saying after a 7th win, but another stunning performance today.
And you've got to think that Singapore will be buzzing now for many hours to come. And as proceedings start to wind down here, what will Mercedes have made of this result, Karun?
They didn't do too badly today. A pretty respectable outcome as far as they'll be concerned. But they need to keep pushing. They can't afford to sit back.
And a big thanks to you all for joining us this weekend here in Singapore.
Next round will see us head east as F1 prepares for the Japanese Grand Prix. We'll see you at Suzuka, a firm favourite for the drivers.
So Max, Charles, Carlos, podium. Lewis P4, George P5 and fastest lap. McLaren gets P6. That's a solid result for them. Yeah, we're now 12 plus 6, 18 points off the championship lead. Yikes. We got a long way to go. Research complete on the suspension. Nice. Research complete on the rear wing. Nice. As we can now do 2 more bits of research. Rear wing. That would be a good one to do. Rear wing side pods. Rear wing chassis. Just something big that will get us back in the playing field for next season, because the goal is always, we now even have ATR hours to do research. The goal is, if we can't win it in season 2, we still need to have a good car for season 3. I'm not going to put all the eggs in this season's basket as much as maybe we should, but I'd rather, because we didn't start the best this season, and I think even we have to admit that. We've had many races where we just lacked pace and lacked results, to the point where this season is not worth sacrificing next season's for, and next season might be worth sacrificing this season for. So hopefully in season 3, which will be, I don't know when, we can have a decent car. But make sure to like and subscribe and watch this live on my Twitch, MegaGame8888, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.